Hi there guys, it's Adam Martin here, and oh boy, it's that time again. We've got another collection announcement. Here we go! After long last, the next set in the collection range has been announced, and it is season 20 from 1983, the second season for Peter Davison as the Fifth Doctor. And I think a lot of people saw this coming. There's been a lot of leaks, rumours, of certain cast members filming stuff for ages now, literally for years. But it's been so long since we got the season 19 release. I think, in fact, it's been nearly 5 years since that release. So I'm so glad now that the second of the Fifth Doctor's adventures are coming to Blu-ray. These collection announcements, as you know, are always very exciting. They come with a YouTube video that is almost like a new mini episode of classic Doctor Who. This one focused on Janet Fielding as Tegan. Great to see her back in the role again. Got the lovely reunion with her and Nyssa. Honestly, that brought a tear to my eye. Both hers and Sarah Sutton's performances were just sublime. Absolutely loved it. Loved the little throwback to the Mara as well. Anyone who's a fan of Tegan will know her connection to the Mara. Really lovely stuff. Always great. And Pete Matagi, thank you for writing these once again. They're a lovely little add-on that, I don't think there's any other company, any other franchise that gets this treatment apart from Doctor Who, but it's brilliant. So just looking at the press release, let's have a look at this. It says this set is the most jam-packed release yet, with hours and hours of new and exclusive material across 9 discs. Celebrating the 20th anniversary of the programme, these stories feature the return of old friends, enemies, and even past Doctors. Over 7 exciting stories, the Fifth Doctor, Nyssa, Tegan, and Turlough face off against the Black Guardian, Omega, the Mara, the Master, Cybermen, and the Time Lords themselves. Very jam-packed, very exciting. And just before we get into it, let's just have a look at what the box is going to look like. As always, the art is done by Lee Binding, who does incredible work across a whole myriad of Doctor Who products, and this is no exception. You've got the Fifth Doctor here holding him. That's the crystal used in Snake Dance, isn't it? I think. Is it Snake Dance? I need to rewatch season 20, clearly. But yeah, he's holding that item there. You've got a wide array of the villains that feature, including little ones like the Dalek and Cybermen from the Five Doctors, for example. Really, I love the focus on like blue and pink as well, like just a really striking colour. Great photograph of Peter Davison. And on the inside there, I love that you can see that the open-up foldy bit where the booklet is the 4 Doctors who appear, ironically, in the 5 Doctors, standing tall next to each other there. That's a really, really lovely touch. And 9 discs as well, considering it's a 7-story release. That's going to be so interesting to see like what gets allocated what. It says all episodes have been newly remastered from the best available sources, including original film elements for the 5 Doctors. I did think that in the trailer, the film elements looked amazing. The classic adventures have never looked or sounded so good on home media. It's going to feature the 5 Doctors 40th Anniversary Edition, which is a brand new version of the special with updated special effects. Again, another updated special effects. That's cool. Dolby Atmos, surround sound, and an exclusive new commentary from Peter, Janet, and Mark, who of course play the 5th Doctor, Tegan, and Turlough. You have updated 2023 special effects, exclusive to Blu-ray on stories including Snake Dance and Enlightenment. I know they don't have the budget to do all of these, so I think people who are saying it would be nice, but they never have the time or resources to do that. But Snake Dance and Enlightenment, good choice with Enlightenment. Snake Dance, I can't remember the effects in that, but I know obviously there's a lot of like snaky stuff to do with the Mara, so that maybe will benefit. You have Behind the Sofa, of course, 7 new episodes, 1 for each story. It seems who have we got? We've got Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, so 3 Doctors there. You've also got Sarah and Janet and Mark, Katie and Sophie. Obviously, you'll have the trailer included in the set as well, which is on YouTube, but nice to have it on disc. You have another In Conversation, the interviews that Matthew Sweet does. He's going to be chatting with both Janet and Sarah, which will be really cool. Let's Go Dutch, which is a new documentary. The TARDIS crew travel to Amsterdam to revisit locations and reminisce about season 20 and the time on the programme. I think this was the feature that people saw ages ago, either them filming it or saw the actors out there, which then prompted all the speculation. So it'll be great to see it nonetheless. You've also got Look Who's Driving, where Peter, Janet and Sarah are on a hilarious European road trip. If you've never heard these 3 on Behind the Sofas or in Big Finish or anything, they're such a funny trio. They bicker and rib each other, but it's all done with love. Like, it's just, they're a great trio to have, so I'm really looking forward to delving into that special feature. When Janet Met Martin, Janet Fielding chats to Martin Clunes. Yes, that's right, 40 years on from his appearance in Snake Dance. A lot of people forget Martin Clunes, who of course went on to huge fame as Doc Martin and other stuff, actually got one of his first acting roles on TV in Doctor Who, in Snake Dance. So that'll be a really cool featurette to have Martin sort of recount his experiences. Making the King's Demons, the regular cast return to the castle location and reminisce. Well, that'll be really cool, because I think when the DVD release came out, I don't think they had a making of on there. Some of the DVDs didn't back in the day, so that'll be really cool. You've got a making of the Season 20 trailer, so I don't think that is on YouTube, so that will be exclusive to disc, which is pretty cool. And then all this footage they're talking about. So we've got Longleat celebration footage, a previously unreleased look at the iconic 1983 convention with panels featuring Peter Davison, Tom Baker, Pat Trout, and John Pertwee, and many more. The Longleat celebration, for anyone who doesn't know, was this big event celebrating 20 years of Doctor Who, and any fan who was around there who could get to it absolutely did. And it's sort of gone on to be, like, revered. It's this legendary thing. So to have a lot of that footage on this, no wonder they're saying it's going to be the biggest one ever. That'll be so cool to check out. You also have studio footage, hours of material going behind the scenes on production of Arc of Infinity, the season opener, Snake Dance, and The Five Doctors. Love seeing studio footage, love seeing how all of this was made. So to have hours of it is just excellent. You have location film rushes from The Five Doctors, again, really cool feature. Rare convention footage, including Australian interviews with Peter Davison and Janet Fielding, shot during the production of the season. That will certainly be... I love watching the convention footage again, like especially all the older stuff will be really cool. You have Once Upon a Time Lord, a rare US documentary from the 1980s. Again, love seeing the inclusion of US things on here. You have new 5.1 surround sound mixes on Snake Dance and The Five Doctors. You also have Dolby Atmos on The Five Doctors, as mentioned. HD photo galleries, of course. Archive treats, which they did never list specifically in detail, but I love the archive treats here, especially from the BBC. Infotext and the PDF archive as well, including the Radio Times 20th anniversary special and other rarities. Honestly, jam-packed. The 9-disc set also includes hours of features from DVD releases, including the documentaries, featurettes, audio commentaries, the Five Doctors Special Edition, and more. Oh, honestly, guys, I'm so hyped for this. Season 20 includes the following stories from 1983. Arc of Infinity, Snake Dance, Mordred Undead, Terminus, Enlightenment, The King's Demons, and The Five Doctors. And of course, you can pre-order it in the UK from various places. You can get it from Amazon, HMV, and Zavvi. I tend to go with mine from HMV. They tend to be the most reliable source. Interestingly, just before we get on about the content of the set and a little tidbit about the stories, it's interesting that we don't have a release date yet. They have done this sometimes, but so sometimes when they announce these collection sets, they have a release date penciled in. We don't have one yet for Season 20. They are saying later in the year, which makes me think they might time it to November, 40 years on from when Season 20 broadcast, which is mad. November is my guess as to when they'll drop it. Of course, that's not confirmed. But yeah, very interesting that we don't have a specific release date as of yet. So what about the stories of Season 20? Well, I've got to be honest, when I first watched it all, Season 20 wasn't a season that really stood out to me all that much. I mean, Arc of Infinity does see the return of Omega, which is really cool. You get a little bit more featuring the Time Lords, learning a little bit about more of their society. Of course, you have Colin Baker as Maxil, who's excellent and all that sort of stuff. It's not a bad story. It's actually quite fun and breezy the last time I watched it. But I haven't met anyone yet who said it's their outright favourite, but it will be. It absolutely will be to someone. Snake Dance is often seen as, compared to Kinder, which is the first Mara story. I think personally I prefer Kinder. Some people prefer Snake Dance, honestly just more of a personal preference. Great character piece for Tegan, and of course Martin Clunes is featured as well. Then you have Mordred Undead, which sort of kicks off the whole Black Guardian trilogy. So in this one, the returning feature is the Brigadier, played by Nicholas Courtney. Always great to see him. This story's always been a funny one in terms of its plot and its jumping timelines and stuff like that. And also it introduces Turlo as well. It's got a lot to juggle in its 4 25-minute parts. And in my opinion, I don't think it's a bad story. I just think there's so much more it could have been, but for various reasons it came out how it did. Terminus is another interesting one as well. Terminus Part 1 for me is great. It's one of those Part 1s in Classic Who that really sets the scene, really gets the tension going. And then the other 3 parts, it sort of starts to come apart at the seams a little bit. There is a lovely departure scene for Nyssa that I really like. I think Sarah acts that brilliantly. And I don't think it deserves the malignness or whatever, it doesn't deserve the hate that it often gets a lot. I think it's all right. And then Enlightenment, this is often heralded as the peak of the Black Guardian trilogy. Again, really cool concept. I think I need to watch this one again. It's been some time. I can't really form a great opinion on it because I can't remember that much about it. But I know Linda Barron's in it. I'm sure she is. So I can't wait to watch that when the Blu-ray's out. The King's Demons, oh man, as a 2-parter, I do love a historical, and it's nice to see the team going back in time. Obviously, you've got the Master, and you've got Chameleon as well. But again, just for me personally, I always found this one a little bit of an underwhelming story, especially as sort of season finale, because the Five Doctors is, of course, the special. Now, this was one of the very first Classic Who stories I ever watched. Back in 2005, I watched it. It was the second classic story I ever had on DVD. I had the original 1999 DVD release, which was the special edition with what was then, updated effects, soundtrack, and stuff like that. Of course, The Five Doctors has had several re-releases. A DVD in 2008, the 25th anniversary edition. Now I can't believe we're on the 40th anniversary edition. That is insane. And we're getting yet another version with updated special effects. I'm already seeing memes about, oh, look, new Death Triangle just dropped. How excited. I'm excited for I'm always up for seeing new versions of stories with, new effects and all that. Because I think it will be cool. It will be cool to see all the differences and all that sort of stuff. So on the whole, Season 20 isn't a Classic Who season that is, high up in my I don't go back to it often. The story I probably return to the most is The Five Doctors for the place it holds for me. But beyond that, I'd probably return to Arc of Infinity every now and then. But I am actually really looking for... Because some of these seasons, right, when these box sets come out, there are some seasons I feel like I know like the back of my hand. They're very comfortable. They're very familiar. And I do watch them all, but, I already have my fully formed opinion. Like any of the John Pertwee stuff, I can just watch that endlessly. With some seasons like this, I don't return to it that often, so I am actually looking forward to sitting down, going through these in story order, so I can really, sort of gauge where I'm at with these adventures and where they hold up in my personal esteem. As for the features, as always, really excited. As I said, we're getting a new Five Doctors version, special edition. We're getting the behind the sofas, all the staple stuff. We're getting new making ofs. We're getting new featurettes, especially with Peter, Janet, and Sarah. I'm so excited for that. So on the whole, 9 discs, man. This is proving to be the, as they say, the biggest box set yet. Maybe in terms of footage included, they may well be correct. But I wanted to just talk about the announcement, how exciting it is that after nearly half a year, we finally know what the next box set is, and that it will be dropping, hopefully, in the not too distant future. But again, my guess would be November. But that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like on it, and let me know in the comments. Are you excited that Season 20 is now finally coming to Blu-ray? What's your favourite story from that season? What do you think about it? What do you think about this set? Let me know all of that in the comments down below. In the meantime, subscribe to us here at AMTV Who. We'd love to have you aboard. I've been Adam Martin from AMTV Who. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time for another trip in the TARDIS.